sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
So Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, when you hear that name, you think rockets, electric cars, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Mars, right? Trying to get us to Mars.
Exactly. But German politics, I mean, that's not what I think.
Not the first thing that springs to mind, no.
But that's what we're deep diving into today, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's Musk and this German political party, the AfD, right?
AfD, yeah. Alternative for Deutschland.
Yeah. And this is actually the second time he's publicly come out and kind of supported them.
Yeah. It's kind of strange, right?
It is a little strange.
Okay.
So let's get into it. What's going on here?
Well, it's interesting because this isn't just some, random news blip. It's, it really gets at some big trends.
Okay, like what?
Well,
what kind of trends?
Well, the way technology and politics are all, smashing together these days. And then you've got all these questions about, national identity.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's complex.
So let's start with this event. Musk is at this rally in Germany.
Right, it was in Halle.
In Halle.
And it was a campaign event for the AfD.
Okay, a campaign event. And he appeared, by video, right?
Yeah, virtually. He was talking with Alice Weidel. She's the leader of the AfD.
Okay, now the AfD. They're pretty controversial, right?
Definitely. Their views on immigration are, well, let's just say they're very different from a lot of other parties.
Right.
They're really focused on, traditional German culture and, they're not exactly welcoming to outsiders.
Right. So how does Musk fit into all this?
Well, he's actually saying some things that, they kind of line up with what the AfD is saying.
Give me an example.
Well, he was talking about preserving German culture and values, and he even said something about how multiculturalism can dilute those values.
Oh, wow. That's pretty strong language, isn't it?
Yeah, especially in Germany. I mean, with their history.
Right, of course.
You got to be careful with that kind of rhetoric.
So what do people make of that? I mean, him saying these things.
Well, it's pretty divisive. Some people are really upset. They see it as him basically endorsing xenophobia.
Xenophobia. Okay, yeah.
But then other people, they see it as him, standing up for tradition.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's definitely complicated.
Then there was that comment about past guilt.
Aha.
That raised a lot of eyebrows. Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in Germany, talking about moving beyond past guilt, that's going to get people talking.
It's a sensitive topic.
Mm-hmm.
And given everything we know about Germany's history with the Nazis, it just feels kind of tone deaf,
For sure. It's hard to know exactly what he meant by it. Maybe he was trying to say that Germany shouldn't be held back by its past.
Maybe. But it also kind of sounds like he's downplaying the atrocities that happened.
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't just forget about history.
Especially that history.
Right. And this whole past guilt thing, it kind of connects back to that other thing with Musk, remember?
What, at the inauguration?
Yeah, the gesture. Some people thought he was doing a Nazi salute.
Right. I mean, who knows what he meant by it, but...
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
It just adds another layer to all this,
It makes it even more complicated, that's for sure. Especially since he actually hosted Weidel on X a few weeks ago.
X, you mean Twitter?
Yeah, well, it's X now, right?
Oh, right. See, I can't keep up with all that.
It's hard to keep track of all the changes. But anyway, yeah, he had Weidel on his platform. And that, it raises some concerns.
Like what?
Well, is he trying to influence the election? I mean, giving her a platform like that.
It's possible, right? I mean, think about how many people follow him. He could have a huge impact.
Exactly. And it's not just him. We're seeing this more and more these days. Tech leaders getting involved in politics.
Yeah, it's a little scary, honestly. I mean, what do they know about running a country?
Well, that's a whole other debate.
Right. But back to Musk. He's always going on about free speech, right?
Oh, yeah. Free speech absolutist. That's what he calls himself.
But the AfD, they've been accused of, hate speech. Isn't that kind of a contradiction?
It definitely seems that way. I mean, where do you draw the line? Free speech is important, but what about when it's used to spread hate?
Right.
It's a tough question, and it's one that we're grappling with all over the world.
It doesn't seem like there are any easy answers.
Not at all.
So Musk didn't just, talk about the AfD at this rally. He came right out and endorsed them.
He did. He actually said they were the best hope for Germany.
Wow. That's a pretty big statement. I mean, coming from someone like him, what do you think that means for the AfD?
Well, it gives them a lot of legitimacy for sure, especially with younger voters.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Musk is a huge figure. People listen to him.
Right.
And for some people, his endorsement could be enough to convince them to vote for the AfD.
That's kind of scary, honestly.
It is a little concerning.
And then Weidel, the AfD leader, she used that phrase, the one that sounds a lot like Trump.
Oh, yeah. Make Germany great again.
Uh-huh. Interesting, right?
Definitely not a coincidence.
No. So what does it tell us? I mean, the fact that she's using that language.
Well, it shows that the AfD is part of a larger trend, this whole right-wing populist thing that's happening all over the world.
You see it in the U.S.
Oh, yeah. And in Europe, too. Brazil, the Philippines, it's everywhere.
It's like they're all reading from the same playbook.
Exactly. They tap into the same fears, use the same rhetoric, and it's working. I mean, look at Trump. He got elected.
Yeah, you're right. It's a little scary.
It is. But it's important to remember that there's pushback, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, while Musk was at this AfD rally, there were huge protests happening all over Germany.
Really? Against the AfD?
Yep. People are really concerned about the direction the country's going in.
That's good to hear. I mean, it shows that not everyone's buying into this stuff.
Right. It's important to remember that there's another side to this story.
Okay. So where does that leave us? I think we've got a lot to think about here.
We do. It's complex. You've got Musk, this tech guy, getting involved in German politics. He's saying things that are, well, they're pretty controversial.
Yeah. And it's all happening against this backdrop of, like, global political shifts.
Exactly. And then you've got technology and social media, which are playing a huge role in all of this.
Right. So what's the takeaway here? What should people be thinking about?
I think the biggest thing is the power that people like Musk have. I mean, they can really influence the way people think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got millions of followers.
Exactly. So we need to be aware of that. We need to be critical of what we're seeing and hearing online.
That's a good point. Don't just believe everything you read. Do your own research, right?
Exactly.
Well, this has been pretty eye-opening, a lot to think about. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're